So it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So could you tell me a little bit about yourself and where
Of
you work,
course.
your
Yeah, so
credentials?
I used to from the start. So I got my bachelor's in science from University of Tampa, great school. And then my major was psychology, and then I did some statistical research. I enjoyed that, and then I was like I enjoyed tech, so I got my MBA, and from there I decided from St. Louis University, and then from there I decided I wanted to get some training in cybersecurity.
Right.
So I spent an additional year, got a cybersecurity management addition onto that. So it's a master's in business administration with a specialization in
Oh
cybersecurity.
wow, so you know IT.
Yeah, yeah. And then I used to work before FGA. I used to work as a data systems manager. So I really care about tech, keeping things secure,
Right.
system management, things like that. So yeah, and then I work for federal government advisors, and that's pretty much all there is about me.
Yeah, and at Federal Government Advisors you do CMMC and you are the
Yeah,
IT?
so yeah, I the director of technology, and then I do CMMC. So that's cybersecurity certification or cybersecurity maturity model certification. Basically, it's going into government contracting. You need to have, starting October 2025, you'll need to have a certification that allows you to, have FCI, so Federal Classified Information
Mhm.
or Federal Contract Information.
So everyone will need it now.
Oh, yeah, everyone's going to
Okay.
need it. So basically, the government is thinking, okay, we have this data, right? It's going to be given to someone who's bidding on a project or something, and if they don't, if let's say they win, right? And now that data is in their hands. So if they were to lose, or if they, their data was, or no, let's say they win and then they have the data, and
Right.
then someone gets in, data gets stolen, that's a huge breach.
Right.
That's a big problem. So they're like, instead of taking people's word that, oh yeah, we have a secure network and everything, they're like, we need to come up with a model or something to follow to make sure it's secure.
And how do you secure all that information? What is your
Yeah, so
process?
yeah, exactly. So that's why they created CMMC. So it follows NIST 800 171. So what that is there's 110 principles in that, but level one they squished it down, took the most essential components of that, and there are 17. It's called hygiene protocols.
Okay.
So 17 things where it's, for example, access control. So things like that, like making sure access control. There's 17. I'm not gonna go through
Oh,
all
like
17
media
on the spot.
protection, physical
Yeah, like
protection.
personal security. For example, the biggest one is access control. So how I explain to my clients is, let's say you have a skyscraper, right? People are trying to come in. You don't want random people coming in who you don't know. Someone who just started, let's say level three, has like the vault with
Right.
all the money in it. You don't want people getting up to the third level, right?
Right.
So you're like, okay, you just started, you're low level, so okay, only level one. You didn't even work at the job. You shouldn't be letting the building past the front desk. So things that make it so it's secure, in terms of cybersecurity, they want to make sure everything is compartmentalized.
Okay.
So it's the least access principle, basically.
And what is the least access
So
principle?
you want to give people the
Just
least
enough?
amount of yeah, just enough. So the least amount of access needed in order to do their job. Because then think about it, if someone were to get their data, it's less on the line
Right.
versus if they had everything root access, that's a problem. So
Yeah, and could you tell me a little bit about what you do with your federal government advisor clients with CMMC, like types of
so
clients?
yeah. So a lot of my clients. So what it is I have clients that they have contracts with the DoD, right? The Department of Defense. So the Department of Defense they created the whole CMMC level one thing. So from there, what I do is usually, I would help them write an RFP, which is, request for proposal. So the government has a job they want to have completed. Company wants to bid on it. They win, get paid, everything works out. But now they need to have the certification. So they need to show, hey, we're not just going to take your word for it that you're going to keep it secure. You need to be certified, and we need to make sure you meet all 17 principles. So then from there, I would do like a gap analysis. So it's kind of how it sounds like. I've preformed or fields that I fill in, ask for basic information, things like that. From there, I'd make risk management, gap analysis, and like it sounds, I find a gap, a problem that doesn't meet a protocol or thing they have, build a new one, and then basically I make sure everything lines up with all the protocols. So then I have risk assessment, gap analysis. We have like for example access control policies, everything like everything. Make sure everything meets all
So
of them because it can be quite daunting at first. See, 17 principles. How do I even do this?
so
It's quite
essentially,
difficult.
you go into a company and kind of get their network map, see
Mm-hmm.
what their system is, what their protocols are, and then make templates and revise that so they can change that
Yeah, good
for
question.
that.
So yeah, I get the very basic information as much as I can get from them because a lot of clients, they're not like incredibly tech savvy where they know like, you know, that's where I come in, right?
Right.
So I try to get as much as I can, like what operating system do you use? What are you using for, your network? Is it secured? Are you on VPNs? Things like that. And then from there, I build them a, risk assessment, do my gap analysis. I make them a new network diagram saying, hey, you should have a VLAN 1 and 2 here. Just, so then when they do apply, which I get all the documents ready, give them a SPRS number. Basically, that's letting the government know how, like, 110 is the top, right? Then 0 is the lowest. So 100 to 110 is around a good range to be in.
Okay.
And then if they're in that range, and then, I complete the documentation, send it off for the company, and then from there, they get the certification, and they're able to bid on. Then if they win a DoD contract, they can actually receive the money.
I see.
The problem is if come October you win a contract and you're not level 1 certified, you don't get the money.
Really?
So yeah, so that's why it's important to get you know certified early on rather than later.
So even if you win the contract and you have everything ready, they will not allow you to move forward with
Yeah,
it.
they won't funding. There'll be a problem.
How long will it take for someone to get certified?
Yeah, so it depends on the size of the company. My medium-sized clients, if they have a lot of networks, multiple VLANs, access points all over, it can take 3, 4 weeks. But small companies, 2 weeks, I'd say.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's I really enjoy it because I get to do everything I learned in my master's. I love everything tech related, so it's perfect for me, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's a great idea, especially with come October. Is there
Hmm.
anything else you want to add for especially for FGA that they offer?
Let's see. Oh yeah, so one last thing. Once I do the gap analysis, like I told you about.
Right.
So then I go from there, see the problems they have, make the risk assessment, and then I don't just send them on their way. I do the process. I do the process for them. I make their documents. I go into their account, help them submit. Of course, I get a form saying that I'm allowed to go in and
Right.
submit for them and everything. You go into this portal called SPRS, which is through PIEE, and then from there you submit it, and then I have 100% rate passing rate in terms of getting my clients
Really?
loan certified.
And how many clients have you done so far?
Around 80 plus.
Wow.
But of course, it's still people are still learning about
Right.
it, so it's a new thing. But yeah, I'm at the point where I feel very confident in my skills in terms of CMMC.
You're getting ahead of it so these businesses can bid. That's
Yeah,
good.
I would just recommend get ahead of it now.
Right.
And get certified now, because last minute, if you're going up against other companies, even if they're a big company but they're not certified, they're not going to win. And if they did win, they don't have they
Can't
they
get
won't
it in
get the
time.
payout. So
Exactly.
it's a small price to pay in order to take care of it now, and then move on from
Definitely.
there.
Yeah.
So that's it pretty
Well, I
much.
appreciate you you talking about this
Of
with
course,
us,
yeah.
and yeah,
Nice
thank
meeting
you.
you. Yeah, take care.